class, and welcome again to Math Minutes, video number 27. In this lesson, we're going to continue looking at how to write linear equations, but instead of given a slope and 1 point, we're going to write a linear equation when we've been given just 2 points or 2 coordinates. So to write a linear equation, when they look like this, when this is the information we've been given, 2 sets of coordinates instead of a slope and 1 coordinate, all we have to do first is determine the slope. So instead of that being done for us already, we just have to figure that out. If you recall from an earlier lesson, we can find the slope with 2 coordinates. If you need to look back in your notes to find that formula, you may do that. Hopefully you remember it. I'll just write it on the side for you. How's that? We take our y values and subtract them, and we write those over our x values and subtract them. And we will have our rise over run and get our slope. So according to this formula, we're simply going to substitute our numbers in. So our y1 is this 7 minus y2, which is 5, over x1, which is 5, and minus x2, which is 7. 7 minus 5 is 2, and 5 minus 7 is negative 2. We have a fraction that has the same number top and bottom, so its value is 1. And because we have a positive number being divided by a negative number, our slope is negative 1. So now that we know our slope, we can just use slope and then we can choose one of the coordinates that we've been given. It doesn't matter which one, as long as we're substituting in the information in the right places. So if we have an equation with these coordinates above, and now we have our slope, let's take a look at this. What do we have? Well, let's choose one of our coordinates where y equals 5. Which coordinate is that? It's this one. It's the second one. We have chosen the coordinate 7, 5. So y is 5. What is our slope? Well, that's what we found in our first step. Our slope is negative 1. And now we put in our x value, which in this coordinate is 7, and then we find out what b is. So we get 5 equals negative 1 times positive 7 is negative 7. We would add 7 to both sides. 5 plus 7 is 12. Now we have the information that we need. We have figured out our slope, and now we have b. We can write the linear equation with our original slope, which is negative 1. We have y equals negative 1x, and our b is 12. Now, we don't have to have that 1 in front of it. In fact, it's better that we don't have it, which is why our answer here is y equals negative x plus 12. So if you turn to the next page, page 47, let's do some practicing writing linear equations. Our first step is to find slope. So let's find the slope for this first 2 set of coordinates. Well, y1 is 2 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. We end up with 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. That gives us a positive 2. We have our slope. Now we're going to take our slope and we're going to substitute that with one of our equations. Let's pick this one. Y is 2. Our m, our slope, is 2. Our x is 2. And now we have to find b. 2 equals 2 times 2 is 4 plus b. Subtract 4 from both sides. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Now we have our slope and we have our b. We can write our equation. Y equals slope minus 2. Because this is a negative 2, our equation has it minus 2. Let's go through problem number 2. First, we have to find slope. y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. -1 minus 5 is -6. -3 minus 2 is -5. Cannot be reduced, but negative divided by negative, we end up with a positive. So here's our slope. Now let's substitute in. Let's substitute in positive numbers. Again, it doesn't matter which coordinate you can choose, and let's go with positive numbers. Y is 5. M is 6/5. X is 2. And we're going to solve for B. 5 equals, this becomes 12/5 plus B. Okay, what do we need to do? We need to subtract 12/5 from both sides. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, this eliminates, but let's do 5. Let's have some extra room here. 5 minus 12/5. We have to make them both fractions. We have to have a common denominator. Our common denominator is going to be 5. What is this going to change to? If I change this to 5, I have multiplied it by 5 to get this, which means I have to multiply that by 5. So we end up with 25/5 minus 12/5. And what does that get us? 25 minus 12 is 13. Yikes. Okay, I picked this randomly. It's like, whatever. It still works. Don't be afraid of the fractions. Okay, so what do we end up with? B equals 13/5. 13/5 equals B. Now we have all of our elements. So now this answer to write this equation, given these 2 points, would be y equals, our slope is 6/5 x, and this is a, is it a positive number or a negative number? It's going to be positive because I started with 25 and I subtracted 12. So it is plus 13/5. Okay, again, don't let the fractions scare you away. All the methods are still the same. Let's try our next one. We have to find slope first. So y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. -2 minus 8 is -10. 0 minus 5 is -5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And a negative divided by a negative is positive. So here's our slope. Now let's substitute in. Let's pick these numbers because they're smaller. Even though one's negative, I like the 0 in there. Y is -2. I'm going to leave some room here. Let's do that. We found out that our slope was 2. -2 minus 8. Wait a minute, what did I do? I already found that. Y is -2 equals m, which is 2, x, which is 0, plus b. -2 equals b, because 2 times 0 is 0. So there we go. Now we have both elements. So y equals, our slope is 2, x minus 2. Okay, let's take a look at the last example. Bring your completed notebook for full credit, and I will see you in class.